Beyond the immediate discussion of the impact of Dobbs are related issues in the now complicated legal scenario coursing through the state courts and legislatures. To discuss that, we're joined by Heather Hacker. She's the former Texas Assistant Solicitor General who now leads her own firm, focusing on defending pro-life laws and handling high-stakes trial litigation. Heather, it's great to have you back on the show. Photos of women posing in handcuffs were all over social media. Is the criminalization of women, now that there's no federal right to abortion, really a threat to victims of abortion?
No, I don't think so. And exactly as you just said, women are victims of abortion, and state laws should make that abundantly clear. And in fact, most state laws already do. They either explicitly exclude women from prosecution, or they're written in a way that they would not apply to women receiving abortions.
And I know that's something that the Catholic bishops made clear, that they're very much in favor of protecting women and helping women. But a recent lawsuit was filed after Governor DeSantis signed Florida's 15-week ban on abortion. And this is another take on religion. There is a group of cosmic Jews that are claiming it violates the religious freedom of the way that they practice Judaism because it doesn't allow them to have abortions. Does this challenge have any legs?
I don't think so, unless there were a court that were inclined to agree that someone's religious beliefs would entitle them to violate the law or commit crimes. I don't think you could say that someone's religious beliefs justify committing murder. So I don't think that lawsuit will be successful.
And the idea of cosmic Judaism doesn't necessarily have consistency to it. You would say that someone has to actually be changed by their religious beliefs. So the consistency here matters too when the court is considering whether you're sincere or not. Isn't that right?
Yes, that definitely does matter. The courts don't do a deep dive into people's religious beliefs. You generally don't want courts deciding whether or not someone's religious beliefs are sincere, but they do. That is part of the reason the plaintiff has to establish that they have a sincere religious belief.
So then what about the opposite situation in so-called sanctuary states where abortion will be protected through the third trimester, and in some places like Oregon where funds have been created to subsidize the procedure? What can pro-life Catholics do in those states?
So there are a lot of pro-life activists that have said for a while that we need to make abortion illegal and unthinkable. And I think that second part of it is what people should focus on. Working on the making abortion unthinkable part, continuing to educate people about the truth about abortion, and committing to caring for women and their families facing difficult situations in tangible ways so that no woman feels forced to have an abortion because of her circumstances. And they can work through political channels to do that. And the beauty of the Dobbs decision is that's exactly what it does, is it gives this ability to convince others and to change things politically back to the people.
One of the discussions that came up in the decision is this abortion across state lines. Can the criminalization of abortion, I have an abortion in California and then I go home to Mississippi, can it be criminalized?
So if you look at the Dobbs decision, Justice Kavanaugh wrote a concurring opinion, and he specifically states in that opinion that he does not think that such laws would pass constitutional muster. I believe he said that he thought they would violate the interstate right to travel. Mm-hmm. And so without Justice Kavanaugh as part of that, I don't think you would have a Supreme Court majority that would uphold a law relating to that.
So maybe that's a deterrent for people who are thinking that's an avenue. But then what about medical abortions, which also have similar discussions around them? You can have pills that are illegal in one state mailed to another state. From a pro-life perspective, is the best option to regulate those abortion pills since the federal government lowered the supervision requirements for the drugs during COVID?
Yes, states can regulate abortion. They can regulate abortion pills. And I would also note that it is illegal under federal law to mail abortion agents.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that, and I'm sure our viewers didn't either. So that's a good thing to know. And then let's go to other types of pills like contraception. Is it a rumor that Americans in this country, women specifically, are going to lose access to contraception?
So there are people saying that. There's a lot of misinformation going around, and it's a lot of fear mongering. I think that's very unlikely. And I think that the majority opinion in Dobbs went out of its way to make very clear that the opinion did not apply to any of the other rights that were established under the Substantive Due Process Clause. The only person that raised any questions as to that was Justice Thomas in his concurring opinion. And it was on the basis that he thinks that for the same reasons that the court rejected the right to abortion under the Constitution, under the Substantive Due Process Clause, he thinks that the rest of the court's substantive due process jurisprudence is equally flawed and wants the court to revisit it, but no one else joined that opinion. So I think it probably is unlikely that a majority of the court would want to revisit any of those decisions.
And abortion really is an animal unto itself in the way that it was decided and how it's proliferated its effects across the law. One last thing on the pro-life side, is there any way that this decision sets up a potential path for legal protection for life in the womb, a right to life found in the Constitution?
So again, I don't think so. The Dobbs decision was great for many reasons, but I don't think it goes that far. Justice Kavanaugh, in his concurring opinion, notes that he thinks that the Constitution is neutral on abortion. So I'm not sure that he would go so far as to hold that the Constitution establishes fetal personhood, but I could be wrong.
Well, you're saying the neutrality, which is something that we heard in oral argument with Solicitor General Scott Stewart. I know that it's something that a lot of people are thinking about. So everything going back to the states gives you even more work, and we look forward to tracking it. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.